Hey everyone, welcome back to KJoy. I'm your host Ara, and this is Kpop This Week. Your roundup of all the chart-topping comebacks, breaking headlines, and unforgettable moments from the K-pop world. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a weekly update. Today we are going to talk about this brewing controversy that has the K-pop and international music communities locked in a heated debate. It involves GIDLE's powerhouse Soyeon, a producer-turned-singer named R.Tee, and serious allegations of plagiarism from a French artist Yseult. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update from KJoy. So, let's set the scene. Back in August, the talented Soyeon appeared as a featuring artist on popular producer R.Tee's debut music video, titled Damdadi. The song was a hit, generating a lot of buzz, and Soyeon's involvement was, without a doubt, a major contribution to its success. However, fast forward 2 months after its release, and she's now facing criticism, though many argue it's completely misplaced. The allegation isn't about the song itself, but about the music video. Critics are claiming that the entire Damdadi music video has been copied, almost frame by frame, from the music video for Bitch You Could Never, by a French independent artist named Yseult. Her video was released earlier this year, and from the side-by-side comparison videos that have been posted online, the similarities appear to be, for many, undeniable. The issue was catapulted into the spotlight when Yseult herself addressed it. She called out the director, label, artists, everyone involved with the making of the music video. In a powerful statement, she wrote, "Just saw this video, Damdadi by R.Tee featuring Soyeon. It's a straight-up copy of my music video. Bitch You Could Never. Director, label, artists. Everyone involved, the least you could do is have the decency to credit your source. To see it get copied like this is wild. But real artistry speaks louder than imitation. And to those trying to guilt-trip me for speaking up, shame on you. Silencing Black women when their work is stolen has always been part of the problem. Not this time. Stream, Bitch You Could Never." This call-out immediately set the internet on fire, and the comments section became a battleground of opinions. On one hand, many supported Yseult. One netizen wrote thoughtfully, "These comments are actually so crazy because you're so in the right and have every reason to be upset. Don't bend to their calls for an apology when your art was clearly stolen. Shame on GIDLE fans for making this your problem instead of calling out their faves." However, a significant portion of the backlash was directed not at the directors or the label, but specifically at Soyeon for her involvement, especially after Yseult tagged her directly on Instagram. This, in turn, prompted her fans, Neverlands, to launch a fierce defense. One fan pointed out the core of the defense, writing, "Girl, no one is silencing you for voicing out but you, accusing the featured artist and not the one who's responsible for the production and direction, and pinning the blame on her is not a way to go. Call those who are actually responsible and not the one who is only featured." The argument here is all about the definition of a featured artist. One wrote, "You accuse someone, Soyeon, who is only credited for her vocal? You watch the whole MV? Did you even bother to read the credit at the end? You're an artist, do you even know what featuring means?" Fans quickly gathered evidence to support their case, pointing to behind-the-scenes content. Another netizen highlighted this, saying, "I need Neverland to boost this video." Soyeon said it clearly in the behind-the-scenes, "Since I didn't write this Damdadi song, I just follow their direction and match the vibe they're going for. Soyeon did not contribute anything but her vocal in this song-making." Another added, "People are not trying to guilt-trip you for speaking up. LOL. You know you were wrong when you tagged Soyeon on your Instagram post. Don't try to twist things. Soyeon did not do anything. Contact the producers and directors of the song. Why only drag Soyeon?" But of course, the other side of the argument persists. Another commenter pointed out a different perspective, writing, "Everybody associated with this production should be held accountable, including the artist that sings on the song. She has a responsibility too, even if she didn't know." And as of now, the central figures in this controversy, R.Tee himself and the production team behind the music video, Bros, have not publicly responded to these accusations. This silence has only fueled more discussion and debate online. So that's the situation, Joysters. It's a complex issue that touches on artistic integrity, the responsibilities of a featured artist versus the production team, and the very valid anger when a creator feels their work has been stolen. Now, I want to hear from you. This is a topic with so many layers. Where do you think the line of responsibility should be drawn? Is it fair for a featured artist like Soyeon to face criticism, or should the focus remain solely on the directors and the label? And with the production team staying silent, what do you think is the appropriate next step for all parties involved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation respectful and insightful. Today, we are going to talk about this latest controversy involving Blackpink's Rosé, a behind-the-scenes revelation she made about a fight with Bruno Mars, and how that seemingly innocent anecdote lit up the internet with harsh reactions. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update from KJoy. So, here's the full story. In a recent interview with Vogue, Rosé was asked to share something about Bruno that fans might not know. She responded with surprising candor.
Can you tell us a story about you and Bruno that no one else knows?
Me and Bruno, oh my gosh. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I had the biggest fight with Bruno right before the music video shoot. But we made up on set, so it was all right. Oh my God, he's gonna kill me. Let's not fight. Let's be friends.
That revelation, "Oh my God, he's gonna kill me," was meant in jest, but it quickly became a flashpoint. Many netizens saw it as Rosé bringing Bruno Mars into the conversation one too many times, relying on his name and making herself look dependent on that connection. On X, formerly Twitter, criticism flooded in. One user wrote, "If obsessed was a person." Another pointed out, "For a whole year, she's been talking about Bruno Oppa everywhere she goes, whether it's relevant or not. No Bruno, no hype." One even went further. "She built her entire identity around Bruno. It's actually embarrassing." Others questioned why she keeps centering interviews around him, rather than her own independent achievements. The year would be 2050, and the only thing she will keep talking about is Bruno Mars. That's what happens when you're a one-hit wonder. Another wrote, "She doesn't have more friends? It looks like her whole life turns around Bruno. It's really creepy." So the reaction changed in tone, from curiosity or surprise to criticism and fatigue. Yet, support also rose among fans. One defended her by pointing out the context of the question. "So it's her fault they ask her about Bruno? The is she supposed to do, ignore the question?" Another pushed back even harder on the critics. "They literally asked her if there's a story about her and Bruno that no one knows. What else was she supposed to say? Y'all slow as And a few veered into the more personal. Is she in love with him or something, because it's embarrassing at this point? She has only been talking about Bruno for a long time. I guess she has no other success. Let's pause to take in the full picture. Rosé is not just someone casually name-dropping Bruno Mars. She's at a stage in her career where her solo work is being fiercely judged, and any perceived reliance on high-profile collaborations or name associations becomes a lens through which people interpret her authenticity. It's worth noting that Rosé's track I-DLE, which is a collaboration with Bruno, has been one of her major solo successes. The song blends pop punk, and indie rock influences, and it cleverly incorporates a Korean drinking game chant, giving it international appeal. Further, I-DLE made history. It spent 12 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Global 200 and the Global Excluding US chart, marking one of her biggest solo achievements. Rosé also recently won Song of the Year at the 2025 MTV Video Music Awards for I-DLE, making her the first K-pop artist to do so. In her acceptance speech, she made sure to thank Bruno, among many others. "Bruno, I know what you're watching. Oh my God. Thank you so much for believing in me and helping me build this world together." So, the connection between Rosé and Bruno isn't just a media talking point. It's deeply woven into the trajectory of her latest music. but that also means when she mentions him, observers interpret it as part of her branding, or even her identity. Some fans see the fight anecdote as humanizing, a glimpse behind the polished surface. One fan comment observed, "Seeing artists spill tea about behind-the-scenes moments like fights before shooting videos makes everything feel so raw and real. It reminds me that everyone, even celebs, deal with the same messy emotions." A few joked about how this tension might even add artistic energy. Oh, wow. Even stars have their moments. Can't wait to see how that tension translates into the I-DLE music video. Sometimes a little drama makes art even better. Another chimed in saying, "The fight was over pizza." Bruno wanted pepperoni and Rosé wanted pineapple. Another tweeted, "Now I know why Bruno was extra happy when Rosé kissed him, laughing my ass off." Behind the backlash and the support, this controversy raises broader questions. To what degree can artists refer to collaborators in their narrative before it's seen as dependency? How much commentary, how much context is allowed? When a celebrity shares personal moments, how should the public interpret them? For Rosé, this probably stings because she's constantly navigating public perception between being a global K-pop icon, building her solo brand, and collaborating with Western stars. In another interview, she had already spoken about her friendship with Bruno and how meaningful it is, not just professionally, but personally. As she said in an earlier interview, "Bruno has been like a big brother to me throughout this whole process. He believed in me when I was doubting myself, and he made me feel like I could really express who I am through my music. I've learned so much from him, not just about performing, but about being confident in my own voice." This quote gives a glimpse of the genuine respect and warmth Rosé feels toward Bruno, which makes the backlash even more unfortunate. Her 2024 was also described by Rosé herself as the toughest and most rewarding year, marked by her debut solo album Rosé and the success of I-DLE. In the end, what Rosé said was brief and playful. It might have invited scrutiny, but it also opened a window into the pressures she faces, from fans, from collaborators, and from the public eye. Okay, Joysters, what do you think? Honestly, those comments were way too harsh and overly critical. It's clear Rosé didn't mean any harm. She was just being open and answering the question she was asked. But what about you? Do you think people are being unfair to her? Or do you see where some of the criticism is coming from? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. Today, we're diving into a major conversation that's been dominating K-pop social media: the alleged tension between Blackpink members after Jisoo's new collaboration with Zayn Malik. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update from KJoy. So the question that's taking over timelines right now is, are Blackpink members really this cold to Jisoo? That's what fans have been asking ever since the release of Jisoo's duet with Zayn Malik titled Eyes Closed. The song marked a major moment in her career, her first ever duet, and a clear signal that she's stepping into her global era after leaving YG Entertainment. But the excitement around her international milestone quickly turned into debate when fans noticed something strange: the other Blackpink members' silence. When the track dropped on October 13th, fans were thrilled to see Jisoo team up with one of the most popular global pop stars, Zayn Malik, who was once crowned the world's most handsome man. Not only did the collaboration surprise everyone, but fans also noticed how Zayn showed his appreciation for Jisoo, even sending her flowers twice to celebrate their work together. It was a sweet gesture that made many admire the mutual respect between the two artists. But as fans celebrated, they also noticed the lack of public support from her bandmates. Neither Jennie nor Lisa shared or commented on the song's release, while Rosé did post a story, though it came hours later and many described it as half-hearted or reluctant. This immediately sparked waves of online debate. One viral post read, "Zayn Malik sent flowers to Jisoo twice, yet her own group members didn't even share her MV?" Another fan added, "When it was their solo debuts, Jisoo went all out promoting them. Now they can't even return the gesture." The comparison quickly spread across fan forums, creating what many described as an uncomfortable look for a group known for its sisterhood image. Some netizens believe this behavior might hint at deeper group tensions. One user commented thoughtfully, "She doesn't have major fashion campaigns, chart-topping songs, or massive fan bases in the West like the others. Maybe they don't see her as their equal." Others argued that Jisoo's focus on Asian markets and her limited English fluency has made her global profile less glamorous compared to the other members, who are often seen in Hollywood events and luxury fashion shows. However, not everyone is convinced that silence equals shade. A few voices came to Jennie, Lisa, and Rosé's defense, warning fans not to overinterpret. "We don't know what support they're showing behind the scenes. People are too quick to jump to conclusions every time they don't post something." But the discussion didn't stop there. Soon after, another wave of posts began trending under what fans called the mistreatment of Jisoo. Netizens analyzed every detail of the members' online activity. Rosé eventually posted in support of Jisoo's Eyes Closed, sharing an Instagram story that read, "Oh my, isn't this song just amazing? Congrats, sis. Go listen to this beautiful song, y'all." Meanwhile, Jennie and Lisa did not publicly mention the song. Around the same time, Jennie announced the behind-the-scenes video for her single Zen around the same time that Jisoo's Eyes Closed was trending globally. The timing sparked discussion online, with some fans interpreting it as bad or even potentially distracting, though it was likely just a coincidence. One comment that gained traction read, "Jisoo always supports them the moment their songs are released. The rest..." Another said, "I'm kinda disappointed with Jennie and Lisa. They have the most followers compared to Jisoo and Rosé, especially Lisa. Their simple My Day post could have helped promote the song. It's really unfair for Jisoo, knowing she always supports them individually." Another added, "Don't say Rosé is late. The other two members didn't even post anything." Still, fans remain divided. While some accused Jennie and Lisa of being cold, others stepped in to defend them. "Bro, stop saying Rosé is late. They're not glued to their phones like we are. At least she's supportive and not like those two other members." Another wrote, "By the way, Jennie posted on Twitter and said Jisoo looks beautiful in the MV too." And there are those trying to calm the chaos entirely, reminding everyone not to turn support into competition. One user wrote, "Rose and Jisoo best friend. Y'all, stop comparing them, please." Another said, "They're all busy. Why hate? They're together for the tour, and I'm sure they're supporting her privately. Not everything needs to be public. This fandom keeps pitting them against each other." Collectively, the online reaction shows how much Blackpink's dynamic matters to fans. Every post, every omission, and even every minute of silence gets magnified. For many, this isn't just about a song. It's about whether the group still embodies the sisterhood image that once made them stand out. Others see it as proof of how fan culture can sometimes go too far, reading into every detail of their idols' lives. So far, none of the members, not Jisoo, Jennie, Lisa, or Rosé, have addressed the situation. But one thing's for sure. The release of Eyes Closed has not only showcased Jisoo's growth as an artist, but also reignited discussions about the group's unity, communication, and how much of their bond is truly public versus private. So, Joysters, what do you think? Do you believe Jennie and Lisa were being inconsiderate, or do you think fans are overreacting to social media silence? And do you think it's fair to expect idols to publicly promote every move their groupmates make? Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll be reading your takes. Today we are going to talk about this recent controversy surrounding BTS's Jimin, the hate he's getting after sharing some moments about Jungkook during a live broadcast. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. So here's what went down. To celebrate his birthday, Jimin did a special live broadcast with fans. During the live, he shared a heartwarming story from his time in the military with Jungkook. He mentioned that they were running together listening to the OST Your Name, and described a scene where Jungkook was a bit ahead. Then, when Jimin took a curb, Jungkook caught up just as the beat dropped. Jimin said, "It felt like a movie," when he saw him. Fans reacted emotionally to that. Many were teary, many called it touching. One fan wrote, "That's such a cinematic moment. Only Jimin could describe something so beautifully." Another commented, "The way he remembers the smallest details. You can tell how much that memory means to him." Another netizen shared, "This is why I love Jimin. He always speaks from the heart. It's never about fan service, it's just pure emotion." Someone else added, "The image of Jimin and Jungkook running together while your name plays feels like something straight out of a K-drama." However, accusations soon followed. After the broadcast, some fans began criticizing Jimin, accusing him of queer-baiting, saying he always brings up Jungkook, and dragging up past controversies like with Songda-eun. For example, one wrote, "Man was exposed of having GF, and he still couldn't stop queer-baiting and leeching. He is never beating the fan service king allegations, I fear." Another said, "He went live from the house Dayoon exposed him in and said he doesn't meet Jungkook outside of schedule, then realized his Fed cult might not like that and immediately started doing fan service on the spot. Oh, Jamina, old habits die hard." And also, the concept of still having the audacity to make a whole fanfic story on his live for fan service just to feed his thirsty, hungry monster fans, while having a whole GF in his apartment for years, bro's life literally depends only on fan service and queerbaiting. But not everyone agreed with that criticism. Many netizens defended Jimin, confused about why certain fans are so harsh. Some pointed out that in that same live he mentioned 4 BTS members, but the uproar only began once he mentioned Jungkook, his fellow military companion. One comment said, "Jimin getting queerbaiting allegations for mentioning a story that happened in the military service when he served with Jungkook, mind you. But when it's another member doing extra shit, it's cute. And haha, they're so gay." Don't piss me off. Another wrote, "Jimin mentioned 4 members in the live, but the rats lose their shit only when he mentioned the person he literally enlisted in the military with." And yet another, "Jimin listening to Sparkle from Your Name when Jikook were running together, the same anime where JK talked out hearing bells when he meets his soulmate. Jimin said the beat dropped exactly when he turned a corner and saw Jungkook like in a movie. OMG. So the core of the collective opinion seems split. On one side, some fans believe Jimin's memory was genuine, heartfelt, and nothing more than a friend sharing an important moment. On the other side, there are fans who feel that he's playing into fan service and using romantic or emotional stories to appeal to certain parts of the fandom, and that this is unfair or misleading, especially in light of rumors or past controversies. Many fans defending him are asking, why does this only become an issue when Jungkook is involved? There's also context they bring up. For example, the mention of Songda-eun has been raised as people recall that past relationship or controversy. Some use it to accuse Jimin of being dishonest toward fans. But many others push back, saying that personal life or relationships shouldn't negate someone's right to share emotional memories or simply talk about meaningful experiences. Another view is that the accusations themselves reflect deeper issues in fan culture. High expectations, pressure for idol behavior, and how fans sometimes police personal expression. Some say the hate being directed at Jimin is excessive, that people are reading too much into innocent stories. Others say that idols, being in the public eye, ought to be careful about how their stories might be interpreted, especially when it comes to topics like queerbaiting or implied closeness. No official statement from Jimin directly addressing these specific accusations, beyond what he said in that live. Also, fans continue discussing this on social media, defending Jimin's sincerity, criticizing the ones who amplify the hate. The debate is ongoing. Now, what do you all think, Joysters? Did Jimin cross a line, or was this just a heartfelt memory that fans are reading into too much? Do you believe it's fair to call someone out for fan service or queerbaiting based on sharing emotional moments with another member? And where should the line be between idol sharing, personal moments, and fan perception? Let me know your thoughts. I'll be reading your comments. Today we are going to talk about this heartbreaking confession from ENHYPEN's Nikki, how he opened up about his struggle to rest amid relentless schedules, the longing he has for home, and what so many fans are worried about. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. So recently, Nikki held a live broadcast on Weverse, directly speaking to fans, and he revealed something that struck many in our hearts. He spoke about the immense pressure the group is under as they prepare for upcoming concerts, and how there's no time to rest. He said that even on a day off, it doesn't feel like real rest, because he knows the next day he'll be back to work. From his words, it was clear that the fatigue he feels isn't just physical, it's psychological. He shared, "There's actually no time to rest because there's so much to prepare. Even if I take a day off, it doesn't really feel like resting." Honestly, this is for sure. How should I put it? It's not comfortable even when I rest. Because the next day, I have to go back to work. Sometimes I want to go on a family trip, visit my hometown, and do things like that. Reading that, many fans felt their hearts drop. Because Nikki, the maknae of the group, debuted at a very young age in 2020 and has rarely had a true break since then. Many commenters felt sorrow and frustration not just for him, but toward his agency, B-Lift Lab, for what they see as neglect of his well-being in contrast to how some other idols are treated. One fan wrote, "I'm not trying to overanalyze, but it breaks my heart how often he talks about not having proper breaks and missing home. I just pray their promised break in December comes faster, so he can visit his hometown after 5+ years and spend time with his family however he wants." Another added, "It's inhumane that every other artist gets to spend holidays with their family while they're forced to continuously work. What the fuck is B-Lift doing? It's very obvious that R.Tee wants to go back home even if it's only for a few days. Even Jake has suggested they go skiing in Japan just so R.Tee can get to see his own family. Do you know how crazy this sounds? Just let him go home." Yet another person, rather painfully, observed, "This is a cry for help, and I'm not even exaggerating. I feel so bad for these guys because they never get to rest." And poor Nikki being Japanese and not having his family around, another fan couldn't hide their concern and wrote, "He is literally sending us distress signals. We have to do something about this." Some pushed back and asked for perspective. In a normal job, you have 1 to 2 days off. Some people even work overtime and Saturdays. How is much of a cry for help when people are normally working 40+ hours weeks? Just to survive, and sometimes that isn't enough. Others pointed to the very beginning. They've done this to him since he's 14. This isn't okay and literally child labor. Collectively, fans are torn between grief, anger, concern, and a deep desire to see him cared for as a person, not just as a performer. But there's more to this story. Some reports go even further. Nikki hasn't visited home since around 2019. He moved from Japan to South Korea when he was young to train under HYBE's sub-label, B-Lift Lab. And because of his career trajectory, he hasn't returned to his hometown in years. In another live back in September, Nikki shared his feelings, saying, "Because of the situation that even if I want to meet my family, I can't. There are many days when I just endured it by myself without telling the members. But now that ENHYPENs are in front of me, I just miss my family so much." In fact, he also confessed in that same broadcast that he's not even sure whether his bedroom still exists in his family's home. Imagine that. Not knowing if the place where you grew up, the small corners filled with memories, still exists as you left it. We must remember that he began training very early. Some reports suggest around 13 or 14. His teenage years were spent away from home in the practice rooms, studios, promotions, concerts, and fan events. As human beings, we all need rest. We need to be with family, to breathe, to feel comfort and safety. And for someone like Nikki, who is Japanese and so far from home, physical distance compounds emotional exhaustion. He must not only be physically tired, but mentally too. Idols are not robots. They're people with emotions, vulnerabilities, needs, and limits. They deserve empathy, rest, space to heal, and the right to sometimes pause. When someone like Nikki speaks so openly, it can feel like he's reaching out for help. I also came across fan discussions recently where some netizens mentioned changes in his content presence. One person noted, "He is quieter now, seems excluded from some parts of variety content, doesn't get as many lines or moments to speak." Some say this might be just part of growing up, changing personalities, and normal shifts. Others wonder whether it's indicative of exhaustion or a company decision. But whether it's choice or circumstance, the underlying concern remains. Is he okay? This moment reminds us of a bigger conversation about the welfare of idols, about how companies manage their schedules, the importance of mental health, humane treatment, and listening to their voices. Nikki's confession isn't just his alone. It reflects systemic pressures many young performers face behind the glamour and stage lights. So, as we wrap up Joysters, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Niki's confession? Do you believe his agency should do more to guarantee rest and allow family visits? How do you feel about how we, as fans, react and support idols when they open up like this? Let me know your thoughts. And today, we're talking about the huge backlash surrounding W Korea's Love Your W 2025 event, a breast cancer awareness campaign that many are now calling tone-deaf, performative, and even disrespectful. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. So, what actually happened at W Korea's annual Love Your W Gala on October 15th? Let's set the stage. This year marked the campaign's 20th anniversary, a major milestone, hosted at a luxury hotel in Seoul. The event has always aimed to raise awareness about breast cancer, focusing on early detection, funding medical checkups, and supporting low-income patients. Over the years, it's earned a reputation for blending celebrity glamour, high fashion, and meaningful advocacy. But this year, things didn't go quite as planned. From the very first clips and photos that surfaced online, it was clear that this year's Love Your W event had taken a dramatically different turn. The atmosphere looked more like an exclusive nightclub than a charity gala. Red and purple lighting, loud music, celebrities holding cocktails, dancing, laughing, even performing. Observers quickly pointed out the stark mismatch between the event's purpose and its execution, noting the irony of such a party-like setting at a campaign meant to raise awareness about breast cancer. One netizen wrote, "I can't tell if this is a club or a breast cancer awareness gala. They are all drinking and partying, completely tone-deaf." Another said, "They have to remove breasts if they have cancer, yet the music and actions are this celebratory? It's like mocking patients." And another commented, "So does partying and drinking spread breast cancer awareness?" I'm genuinely asking. Another person noted, "My best friend is battling breast cancer, and seeing this made me so upset. How is this supposed to help anyone?" Across social media, these sentiments became common. The event looked glamorous but felt insensitive. This disconnect between purpose and presentation set the stage for what would become a cascade of controversies. One of the first major flashpoints was Jay Park's performance. He performed a song called Momai, which is known for sexually suggestive lyrics, including references to breasts. Considering the event's focus, it was immediately clear why viewers were upset. Clips of his performance circulated online, prompting outrage. Netizens wrote things like, "Singing that song here? Are you serious?" And tone deaf doesn't even cover it. Did no one vet this? Jay Park later addressed the backlash on Instagram, explaining that he performed after the official breast cancer portion of the evening, he wasn't paid, and his intentions were good. He added, "To any cancer patients who felt uncomfortable, I sincerely apologize. Please don't twist the goodwill." Many felt it was defensive rather than sincerely apologetic. Comments ranged from, "So, we're supposed to care because you weren't paid?" The song itself was inappropriate. to, "You don't need to get paid to think before performing at a medical awareness event." Another wrote, "Honestly, he should have just said he didn't realize the impact and apologized. That's it." Despite this, a large number of netizens defended Jay Park, pointing out that he did not design the event, choose the theme, or select the audience. He was a guest performer following instructions, yet the optics were undeniably poor. Then there was aespa's Karina, who participated in the Love Your W challenge, a viral social media stunt promoted by W Korea. The challenge involved celebrities performing flirty, body-focused gestures. In Karina's case, motions that sometimes implied touching near the chest area. Considering this was a breast cancer awareness event, the irony was painfully obvious. Then came the wave of online criticism. Sharp, emotional, and unfiltered. Seriously, how is this related to breast cancer? "It's just using patients as props," one person demanded. Another scoffed, "The event name is a shield for a party vibe, nothing else." As outrage grew, the tone hardened. Using breast cancer as a backdrop for a sexy challenge? Absolutely absurd. By the end of the night, one comment captured the mood of many. "This event has become performative, not educational. Disgusting. But the story isn't so black and white. Fans defended Karina, noting she was likely instructed to do the challenge by the organizers. One comment read, "She couldn't refuse." Saying no might have made her appear rude. Classic K-pop tension. In the end, Karina herself wasn't responsible for the event's tone, but participating still tied her to the optics of insensitivity. And the lack of real awareness content only fueled the criticism. Observers noted that, unlike in past years, this gala featured almost none of the elements that usually define Love Your W. No survivor stories, no speeches about early detection, no educational displays, no interactive campaigns. Instead, the night seemed focused entirely on fashion, music, and spectacle. One netizen commented, "Not a single survivor story, no educational talk, nothing about prevention. Just dancing and drinks." Another wrote, "If you're going to call it a breast cancer awareness event, at least teach people something. Educate, don't just party." Others summed it up bluntly. "It's like a fashion show, not a campaign." Where's the awareness? That brings us to the financial side. And it's where many people's frustration turned to disbelief. Despite the star-studded guest list, luxury sponsors, and 2 decades of fundraising history, this year's donations amounted to only around 10 million won, roughly $7,000. When people dug deeper, the numbers looked even worse. Over the span of 20 years, Love Your W had raised about 1.1 billion won, approximately $774,000 in total. Considering the scale of the events, the luxury partnerships, and the sheer celebrity presence, many found the figure shockingly low. One netizen wrote, 20 years, all these big names, and the total is still under $1 million USD? Shameless. Another added, the Bulgari owner was there, worth billions, and they're celebrating $35,000 a year in donations? Give me a break. A third summed it up bluntly. All glamour, zero impact. And when the criticism exploded, W Korea's response was minimal. A representative simply told, "We have no comment." That only intensified public anger. No comment? Then why even hold an event under the name of breast cancer awareness? One person wrote. Another said, "Ignoring criticism is the worst PR move ever. Expect backlash." And a third added, "If you just wanted a party, fine, but don't call it a campaign." That silence, combined with the nightclub-like atmosphere, controversial performances, viral challenges, and shockingly low donations, created a perfect storm. Online debates quickly split into 2 main camps, those blaming the celebrities and those blaming the organizers. Critics of the idols argued, they should be ashamed. You can't just drink, dance, and pose at a cancer awareness event. Another said, if you want to party, do it privately. Don't use patients as props. But others defended the celebrities, emphasizing that the real responsibility lay with W Korea. Jay Park didn't plan the program or choose the theme. One comment read, Karina didn't create the challenge. The organizers did. Another added, optics are bad, but blame should go where it belongs, the planners. Logically, the accountability hierarchy is clear. W Korea and its event planners bear the greatest responsibility. They set the tone, approved performances, chose the challenges, and controlled the messaging. Performers like Jay Park and Karina carry minor responsibility in terms of optics, but they didn't design the event itself. While public outrage is understandable, it should be aimed at the root cause: mismanagement. The fallout goes beyond this single night. Brands and agencies are watching closely. Sponsors may demand stricter oversight or avoid campaigns that risk reputational damage. Celebrities may think twice before attending charity events where the optics aren't carefully managed. A campaign meant to raise awareness, educate the public, and support patients has instead become infamous for everything but that mission. Nightclub energy, inappropriate performances, viral flirty challenges, minimal awareness content, and disappointing fundraising. It's a sobering reminder that even the most glamorous, well-intentioned events can fail when substance is replaced by spectacle. So, Joysters, what's your take? Was this just bad planning, or do you think the celebrities share some blame? And more importantly, do you think the meaning of breast cancer awareness got lost this year? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. Thanks for tuning in to KJoy. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you're always first to know what's happening in the world of K-pop. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and stay tuned.